My name is Brittany, as you already know, and I'm going to talk about why Photoshop is harmful. Photoshop is harmful because it gives society unrealistic images of people, but it is good in photography because it removes imperfections and improves the quality of the image. Photoshop creates a lack of self-esteem for many people because they look at images on magazines or on social media and automatically compare themselves without even realizing it. Photoshop can be used to completely alter an image to the point that it looks like an entirely different person. And Photoshop is beneficial in photography specifically because it helps enhance the beauty of the photos. On the one hand, Photoshop enhances the beauty in a photo. On the other hand, it creates an unrealistic expectation of body image. Photoshop is a great tool to make photos pop and get creative with the images. Photoshop enhances photos, and there are important benefits to Photoshop. Sam Evans, with a master's degree in philosophy, stated in the Journal of Forensic Sciences, "In recent years, the advent of digital photography has, among other things, made possible the application of digital enhancement to an image, thereby increasing the possibility of achieving better edge definition for analysis." Photoshop can also be used in photography like family photos, engagement photos, wedding photos, and more. Photoshop is beneficial also when touching up photos or changing the contrast in the lighting. Although there are some benefits to Photoshop, there is also a lot of harm that it does to the expectation of body image. As it states in Photoshopping and Advertising, advertisements of women being perfect influence adolescents. By the time they are 17, these girls have seen 250,000 TV commercials telling them they should be a decorative object, sex object, or a size they can never achieve. The effect of photoshopping is happening at even a young age, and that's really unfortunate. Photoshop has become a major issue because it sets an unrealistic standard of beauty. Unfortunately, this is often done without people even knowing it, which is even more scary. Photoshop is widely used in advertising products, distorting photos on magazines, and etc. In advertisements, it can make products look like they work better than what they do because of Photoshop. In magazines, it can make models look more perfect when they really have flaws just like everyone else. Ashley Brown, with a Juris Doctorate degree, states, "Photoshop has the power to manipulate an image's appearance beyond recognition, making it possible to transform an average-looking individual into a Barbie girl in a Barbie world." The simple fact that Photoshop can completely change what someone looks like is the reason why people, especially women, have a distorted image of what beauty is. According to a survey conducted by the Huffington Post, 15% of 18 to 24-year-olds surveyed were convinced that billboards and magazines represent an accurate depiction of real-life women. I can attest to this because I remember looking at magazines and thinking that the women were so pretty, and I wish that I looked like that. I had no idea that those images were not raw images of that model, but instead retouched and photoshopped. I remember that it made me feel like the way I looked was not good enough for society. As it states in the Picture Imperfect Photoshop Redefining Beauty advertisement article, the National Advertising Division moved to ban the use of Photoshop in cosmetic advertisements. Specifically, the ban followed a 2012 CoverGirl ad featuring Taylor Swift, in which her eyelashes were airbrushed to exaggerate the effects of the mascara. This is what you would call false advertising. So not only does Photoshop create unrealistic images, it also aids in false advertising. Which I'd be pretty upset if I bought a mascara thinking that it was going to work really well, and it really didn't work as well as it showed because it was just Photoshopped. Photoshop not only has an emotional effect on people, but also a physical one. Advertising has a toxic effect on eating disorders. Advertisements feature models that are tall, thin, and have unrealistic proportions. Alongside the chocolate ads are others that shame women for having an appetite for food, such as one that showed a pair of cinnamon buns hanging off a slim model's hips. These images normalize disordered behaviors around food, such as binging and guilt. The bulimic is the ideal consumer, said Kilborn. Women and girls compare themselves to these images. I see pictures on Instagram all the time that have images of men and women that are clearly photoshopped, but it makes me feel self-conscious about myself still. Photoshopping, as I said before, aids in false advertising. As it states in Photoshop and advertising, 7 million girls and women under 25 suffer from eating disorders because of women seeing ads of how they should be. As you can see, Photoshop is a powerful and beneficial tool that can be used to enhance images. However, that powerful tool can be used to enhance photos in such a way that completely distorts the original image. Photoshop has become a major issue because it sets an unrealistic standard of beauty that is simply impossible to achieve. They say a picture is worth a thousand words, and in the case of the usage of Photoshop, it truly is. It creates the image of perfection that does not exist. And that is my speech. Thank you.